In our previous episode on #LearnWithLex, we learned from Article 40 of the Civil Code that birth determines personality. We learned that birth happens if and only if there is a complete separation of the child from the mother's womb. We also learned about presumptive personality and actual personality. Presumptive personality pertains to the civil personality of the conceived but unborn child. The law affords a provisional personality upon a nasciturus or an unborn child for all purposes that are favorable to it. For presumptive personality to ripen into actual personality, Article 41 provides that the child must be born alive at the time of his or her complete separation from the mother's womb. However, if the child was carried by the mother for a period of less than 7 months, then it has to survive a period of 24 hours for it to be considered born. In tonight's lesson, let's look at the end of civil personality, death and its effects, and the kinds of deaths contemplated in our laws. All of this and more coming right up. This episode is brought to you by Dekada! 10 life lessons from 10 years in law school. Sa akdang ito, ako na ang nagkamali na dapa, lumuha at nasaktan para ikaw kapatid ay makatapos sa loob ng 4 o 6 na taon. Think of it as a game guide, a cheat sheet that you can use throughout your law school journey. By purchasing this ebook, you are sowing the seeds of free legal aid for those who fall within the gaps of the law. With your help, we can bring the law to the people and more people to the law. Grab your copy through the link in the description down below. Hi, my name is Lex and welcome to Lex in Motion. In this channel, I'll be helping you build your competence, confidence, and capability in law school. Start today by hitting the subscribe button below. New episodes are posted every Friday. Article 42 of the Civil Code provides that civil personality is extinguished by death. The effect of death upon the rights and obligations of the deceased is determined by law, by contract, and by will. As I've mentioned in our previous episodes, civil personality is used interchangeably with juridical capacity. It is the aptitude or natural ability to be the subject of rights and obligations. Capacity, according to Dean Albano, refers to the combination of juridical capacity and capacity to act. Now, Article 42 tells us that civil personality is extinguished by death. When it does, it is essentially referring back to Article 37 of the Civil Code, which provides that juridical capacity, which is the fitness to be the subject of legal relations, is inherent in every natural person and is lost only through death. Ibig sabihin kapatid, dahil ikaw ay sinilang na at nabuhay sa mundong ito ay maaari ka ng pautangin at magpautang. Maaari ka ng magsanla ng alahas, lupa o kotse. Maaari kang pumasok sa isang kasunduan ng bilihan ng lupa o bumili ng kahit anong bagay mula sa gulay, groceries o ang mismong cellphone, tablet o laptop na gamit mo sa panonood ng episode na ito. Article 42 tells us that our capacity to be the subject of legal relations ends when we die. But what is death? The Civil Code does not give us a definition of death. According to the man, the myth, and the legend, Professor Ruben Balane, God rest his soul, medical science, as much as it has advanced in our lifetimes, is also unable to pinpoint the exact moment of death. In one of my classes, I asked for the definition of death. There was a nurse in our class at ang sagot niya, there is death daw when there is rigor mortis. Sabi ko naman, what is rigor mortis, Mr. So-and-so? Ang sagot niya, stiffening or the hardening of muscle daw. So in return, I asked, if X sees a beautiful young woman who is swimming in the stream and X has an erection, is X now dead? Sabi niya, syempre, I know. X is not dead. Another one answered that there is death daw kapatid if there is some declaration by a doctor that this person is dead. So I asked, A was involved in some mountain climbing accident and he fell off the cliff. He was alone and there was no one to declare him dead. Yet he laid there unconscious and has lost almost all of his blood. Kung walang doktor pero naaagnas na si A, you're telling me he is not dead? Finally, another student, siguro nakakuha ng context clues, offered her answer. Sabi niya, there is death when a person becomes unconscious and cannot be woken up. So I gave myself As an example, assuming that because of the answers of the class, sabi ko, I suffer a heart attack at 7 p.m. and I was rushed to the hospital. I was unconscious and not responsive. However, at 11 p.m., I suddenly woke up, stood up, and asked for a large glass of water. Did I die? Am I dead? In between the hours of 7 p.m. and 11 p.m., pwede na bang paghati-hatian ng aking mga mahal sa buhay? Kasama si Chuck ang aking estate. The answer, kapatid, is still no. However, if you are ever asked in class what death means, I submit to you the definition of death as it was laid down to us by Dean Domingo Navarro. He says death is the permanent and irreversible cessation of all essential bodily functions. This definition covers for us various scenarios. We have the element of permanence, meaning hindi na ito magbabago. Sa parehong paraan na kahit anong paliwanag ng jowa mo, hindi na mababago na ikaw pala ay may kasabay at ang jowa mo ay jowa din ng iba. We have the element of irreversibility. This means that when a person dies, kahit pagpatong-patungin natin ang mga mambabarang at pausukan ka dyan, kapatid, ay hindi ka na maibabalik sa dati. Kahit na masunog na lang ang puso mo sa kakakuryente ng mga nurse at doktor, ay hindi na muling titibok ang puso mong minsan nang nadali ng pangangaliwa ng jowa mo. Finally, and I submit that this is the most important part of the definition of Dean Navarro, the cessation or the stopping of all essential bodily functions. This means, kapatid, that if a person stops breathing or his or her heart stops beating and his or her brain show absolutely no activity and this damage is permanent and can no longer be reversed, then we have death. What is now the effect of death? The second paragraph of Article 42 tells us that the effect of death upon the rights and obligations of the deceased is determined by law, by contract, and by will. This means, kapatid, that the implication of a person's death are determined first by law, second by contract, and third by will. Section 8 of Article 7 of the 1987 Constitution tells us that in case of the death of the President, then the Vice President shall serve as the President for the unexpired portion of the term of the deceased President. Dahil sa enumeration laid down by Article 42 of the Civil Code, the President cannot in his last will and testament make one of his children the President in case of his death. This would be unconstitutional. He cannot bargain away his right of office because the right of office ends when an elected official dies. Elsewhere in the family code, we know that the death of the husband dissolves the marriage. Sabi nga sa ating mga marriage vows, until death do us part. So when there is now a permanent and irreversible cessation of the essential bodily functions of the husband, laya nang maituturing ang asawa mo na ilang pong taon ding nagtiis, nagdusa at naghirap sa pakikisama sa'yo. Sa panghalimbawa, syempre ang Article 89 of the Revised Penal Code. It tells us that death has the effect of extinguishing the criminal liability of the accused. Heto, kapatid, ang dahilan kung bakit may mga kriminal sa mga napapanood mong mga series ang hindi nagpapahuli ng buhay. We cannot imprison a cadaver, kapatid. Walang mapapala ang estado kung ikukulong natin ang isang bangkay. All of these provisions show us some of the effects of death as determined by law. Now let us look at how death impacts rights and obligations by a contract. Assuming that X borrowed 500,000 pesos from Y, due and payable on December 31, 2022. Now today is the Chinese New Year. At syempre salamat, kapatid, kung nanonood ka nito kahit holiday sana at ikaw dapat ay nagpapahinga. However, in our example, Y dies on March 31, 2022. Can we now say that death has the effect of extinguishing the obligation of X? Can we now say that since Y is dead, X is no longer liable for the 500,000 pesos? Now, the law on obligations and contracts tells us that death is not one of the modes of extinguishing obligations. Kahit napatay na si Y, ay meron at meron pa ring utang si X na halagang 500,000 pesos. Dapat pa ring magbayad si X, pero kung siningil si X ng pamilya ni Y, dapat na ba siyang magbayad? The answer, kapatid, is no, because the obligation is not yet due and demandable. Ayon sa kasunduan nila ni Y ay magbabayad pa lang si X sa due date sa December 31, 2022. Let's look at another contract. Assume natin na si Annie ay isang negosyante at isang politician. Kumuha si Annie ng life insurance mula sa QQQ Insurance Company. Isa sa mga terms ng insurance contract nila ay magbabayad ang QQQ ng 15 million pesos 90 days sa pagkamatay ni Annie. No questions asked. Now, if Annie dies of a vehicular accident along the SLEX or dies because of the pandemic, will the cause of death matter? Can the insurance company refuse to pay the beneficiaries of Annie? The answer, kapatid, is no. In our example, the insurance company unconditionally bound itself to pay 15 million pesos within 90 days from the death of Annie. The cause of death of Annie does not matter. All that the contract requires is that Annie should die. Finally, we have wills. A will is an act whereby a person is permitted with the formalities prescribed by law to control to a certain degree the disposition of his estate to take effect after his death. Article 777 of the Civil Code tells us that the rights to the succession are transmitted at the moment of death. Now, if our testator or the person whose property is now being distributed is still alive, buhay na buhay pa, nagja-jogging sa kanilang neighborhood tuwing umaga, nagdidilig sa kanilang bakuran tuwing hapon, at nakakapagsimba pa naman sa tuwing araw ng linggo, can we now divide his estate? The answer, kapatid, is no. Death is the act that triggers the opening of the succession. There can be no succession when the person is still alive and kicking. How about this scenario naman, kapatid? Supposing that our testator dies, but his children are all abroad. And because of the strict quarantine restrictions, they were unable to visit him in the hospital and attend his funeral. It was 6 months after he had died when they were able to finally come home, take possession of his farmlands and his house, his cars, and the money in his bank accounts. When did the heirs acquire the right over the estate? Upon the moment of death of the father, or upon their arrival in the Philippines 6 months later, or when these things are actually delivered to them by the executor of the estate? Applying Article 777 in relation to Article 42 of the Civil Code, the rights of the heirs were transmitted at the precise moment of the father's death. One last point before we end tonight's lesson. According to Justice Paras, our Civil Code contemplates 2 kinds of death. One is physical death, or the permanent and irreversible cessation of all essential bodily functions. A second kind of death is civil interdiction. This is also known as civil death. Article 34 of the Revised Penal Code tells us that civil interdiction will deprive the offender during the time of his sentence of the rights of parental authority or guardianship, either as to the person or property of any ward, of marital authority, of the right to manage his property, and of the right to dispose of such property by any act or any conveyance inter vivos. Please note that civil death is not permanent. It ends once the offender has served his or her time in prison. It does not extinguish juridical capacity but only limits it. In other countries, for example, civil interdiction also includes the suspension of the right to vote. Civil interdiction is an accessory or additional penalty imposed upon convicted felons in the country. The goal is to further isolate the convicted felon from the society it has thusly offended by the commission of a crime. To summarize tonight's lesson number 1, there are 2 kinds of death in the Civil Code. Physical death is the permanent and irreversible cessation of all essential bodily functions. It terminates civil personality and juridical capacity. Civil death or civil interdiction merely limits capacity. Number 2, Article 42 of the Civil Code provides that the effect of death upon the rights and obligations of the deceased is determined by law, by contract, and by will. The order of the enumeration is important. I hope you learned something new today, kapatid. One announcement I wish to make, kapatid, is that the payment information for all of our digital products and services has been updated. This serves as constructive notice of these changes. If you would like us to continue our discussion on Intro to Persons, please let me know by typing yes in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Like and share this video for good law school karma, and I will see you next Friday.